Hey guys, hi, welcome back. So today we will solve the questions of thermodynamics and these questions are from GATE. Okay, so let's start with the first question. So the first question here is that if the isothermal compressibility of a solid is kappa T equals to 10 to the power minus 10 Pascal inverse, the pressure required to increase its intensity by 1% approximately is what? So we are given here that the isothermal compressibility of solid, which is denoted by kappa T, it is equals to 10 to the power minus 10. We have to find the pressure which is required to increase the pressure of this solid by 1%. Okay, so first of all, what we will write here? Given. Okay, what is given to us? That kappa T, it is equals to how much? 10 to the power minus 10 Pascal inverse, right? And we know what? The isothermal compressibility can be written as kappa T, it can be written as what? 1 minus 1 by V. Okay. Del V by del P at constant temperature. Okay. So now we will substitute here the value of delta V. We know that small n, it is equals to what? Capital N by V. So this will give us the volume V equals to what? Capital N by small n. Okay. So now we will differentiate and you will have delta V is equals to what? N, capital N is constant. It will give you 1 by n on differentiation will give you what? Minus 1 by n square dn. So we will substitute the value here. We know kappa T is given in the question to be what? 10 to the power minus 10. It is equals to 1 minus 1 by V. Okay, 1 by V can be written as what? Minus sign is as it is. It can be written as small n by capital N. And delta V. Delta V is equals to minus, okay, minus of what? Capital N by small n square. And this side we will have what? Delta N by del P. This is how we can write it. Okay, now if you see, this n will cancel with this n, this capital N will cancel this capital N, and finally what you will have? 10 to the power minus 10, it is equals to minus a will be plus, and here you will have what? What is left here? We can write it as delta N by N. We can write it now, and divided by what? Into with what? 1 by del P. So from here what we will get? That delta P, which is the pressure, it is equals to what? Del N by small n. Bringing this del P to the left hand side and taking this 10 to the power minus 10 to the right hand side. You can write it as what? Into with what? 1 by 10 to the power minus 10. So finally you can write delta P, it will be equals to how much? Delta N by N. So here it is said that the pressure needs to increase by how much? The pressure required to increase if the intensity, the pressure required to increase its intensity by 1%. So the increase in intensity is how much? 1%. So delta N by N will be how much? 1 by 100. And this 10 to the power minus 10, it will go to the numerator and it can be written as 10 to the power 10. So finally what you will have? Delta P, it is equals to 10 to the power 8 Pascal. Okay. So the correct option is option C. So you can just see it is given to us that the isothermal compressibility is equals to 10 to the power minus 10 for solid. We have written the formula for kappa 10 and just substituted the values. Okay. Now let's see the next question. Here what it is given, the internal energy of n moles of a gas, it is given by E is equals to 3 by 2 nRT minus A by V. Here V is the volume, T is the temperature, and A is a positive constant. So this is the internal energy of n mole of a gas. And if 1 mole of gas in state, this one, if in 1 mole of the gas is in state this with temperature T1 and V1, and it is allowed to expand adiabatically into vacuum, that means it is allowed to expand what? Freely. Okay, to a final state T2 V2, then we need to find the temperature T2. So it is very simple. The internal energy is given to us, okay, for n mole. So we have to find when 1 mole of gas in state with this temperature, it is allowed to expand freely, okay, into final state this one, then what will be the temperature T2. So first of all, what we will write here? Given E is equals to what? 3 by 2 nRT minus A by V. So one thing here, it is allowed to expand adiabatically into vacuum. That means it is allowed to expand freely. Okay. Okay. that is the reason that D will be equals to 0. Why? Because expansion is what? Free. In that case, DE is equals to 0. If DE is equals to 0, that means what? E1 will be equals to E2. Okay. And we can write using this energy given for n mole. Okay. For n mole, it is given to us now that the energy is equals to what? 3 by 2 nRT minus this one. So we can write for E1 and E2. Using that particular energy, we can write E1 to be what? 3 by 2, and R is also constant. T1, it is equals to minus, this will be minus, okay, A by V1, which is equals to what? 3 by 2 and R T2 minus A by V2. Now, if we will solve this particular equation, we will get what T2 is, okay. So we will write 3 by 2 and R common from this term and this term. And we will take this particular term to the right hand side. And we will have what? T2 minus T1, right? In the second term, we can take A common. This time we will bring this A by V2 to the left hand side. So we will have a what? 1 by V2 minus 1 by V1. Okay. Now here what you will see, you can write T2 minus T1. It is equals to what? Bringing this 3 by 2 NR to the right hand side. You can write it as 2 by 3 A by R. Here I have written A by R because we need to find for what? 1 mole of gas, so N is equals to 1. Okay. And rest 1 by V2 minus 1 by V1, it will be same. Now we will write T2 is finally equals to what? 2 by 3 A by R into with 1 by V2 minus 1 by V1 plus T1. So this is the answer. So this is the final value of T2. So it is very simple. What is given to us? We are given with the internal energy. The expansion is free. So D is equals to 0. D is equals to 0. That means E1 is equals to E2. Using this energy, we have written the value of E1 and E2, and then we have calculated the value of T2. Now let's see question number 3. So what is given in question number 3? That two gases which are separated by an impermeable membrane but movable partition, they are allowed to freely exchange energy. So at equilibrium, the two sides will have the same what? Means we are having, suppose this is, here this is the membrane, okay. This is an impermeable membrane, but it is movable. We are having two gases, suppose A and B. Okay. If the exchange of energy is what? Free, then at equilibrium, what quantities will be same? We are having 4 options. The first one is pressure and volume. Second is volume and temperature. Third is pressure and temperature. And the fourth is volume and energy. So first of all, when this partition will be removed, then there is, here it is said the exchange of energy is what? Free. If the exchange of energy is free, that means what? Temperature will become equal and they will come in what? They will have thermal equilibrium between them. Then if again you see, the first thing is that temperature will be same. Okay, because the flow of energy is what? Freely done. Next is the pressure. So pressure will also become same, and then they will come into what? Mechanical equilibrium condition, right? So the two quantities that will be same at equilibrium will be what? Pressure and temperature. Okay. Next, for any process, the second law of thermodynamics requires the change of entropy of universe is, means for any process, okay, the second law of thermodynamics requires how the entropy should change, okay. We know that the change in entropy, that is delta S, either it is greater than or it is equals to 0, okay. Delta S, it is greater than 0 for what? For irreversible process, right? Irreversible process. And delta S, it is equals to 0 for what? Reversible process. Okay. So that means what? Delta S can be positive from this, or it can be what? 0 from this. So the correct option is what? Option B. That for any process, the second law of thermodynamics will require that the change in entropy, that is delta S, it can be positive or it can be equals to 0. So now let's come to the next question. Question number 5. Here it is said that the mean free path of the particles of a gas at temperature T naught and pressure P naught has a value lambda naught. So what is the mean free path of the particle of a gas? Lambda naught. When the temperature is what? T naught, pressure is how much? P naught. So if the pressure it is increased by 1.5 knot, pressure is increased by 1.5 knot, temperature is decreased by 0.75 knot, then what will be the mean free path change? Okay, it will remain unchanged, it will reduce to half, it is double, or it is equal to 1.125 lambda naught. So this is what we need to find. Okay, so first of all, we know that the mean free path lambda, it is proportional to what? 1 by root over 2 pi, okay, d square n. Okay, we know from the ideal gas equation PV is equals to what? nRT. Okay, so here it will give you that lambda is proportional to what? 1 by root over 2 pi, and here you will have what? PV RT. So this equation will finally give you that lambda, the mean free path, it is proportional to T by P. Okay, this is a mean free path is directly proportional to temperature and inversely proportional to the pressure. So in the question it is given to us that the pressure is increasing by 1.5 and the temperature is decreasing. So we will write here what? 0.75 T naught divided by what? 1.5 P naught. Okay, so this will give you lambda is equals to, you can remove the proportionally constant on your own. Okay, we are just calculating the value. This will give you 75 by what? 100. Okay, into with 10 by 15. I'm removing the decimal and this will be into with what? T naught by P naught. Now if you see, this 0 will cancel this 0. 15, how much? 5 is 75. So you will have lambda is equals to what? 5, this is 5 2s are cancelling, 5 2s are 10. You will have how much? 1 by 2, T naught by P naught. That means lambda is equals to what? Half of what? T naught by P naught means what? Lambda naught. That means the mean free path, it is reducing by how much? Half. Yes or no? Because we are having a half factor here. So the correct option is what? Option B, that the mean free path, it will reduce by half. Now let's see question number 6. Here it is said a sample of ideal gas with pressure P and volume V, it is taken throughout an isothermal expansion process with change in entropy is found to be S. Okay, the gas universal gas constant is R, the work done of the gas is what? So you are having 4 options here. It is said initially for a sample of ideal gas, the pressure is what? P, volume is what? V, and it is taken out through isothermal expansion. That means the temperature is kept constant. In that case, the change in entropy, it is found to be what? Delta S. This will be delta S, okay? And the universal gas constant here, it is R. We need to find out the work done by the gas. So firstly, we will write what is the ideal gas equation, okay? So we will write for ideal gas, PV is equals to nRT, right? And here T is constant. Why it is constant? Since here what we are having? It is isothermal expansion. Okay. Now the change in entropy, delta S, it can be written as what? Del Q by T. We know that the internal energy in this case, okay, du will be equals to 0. How it will be equals to 0? We know du, it is equals to what? mCv dt. So here T is constant, right? If T is constant, then dt will be equals to 0. And as a whole, what you will get? Du, it is equals to 0. Now when du will be equals to 0, what it will give? You know that from the first law of thermodynamics, we know dq is equals to what? Du plus dw, right? This is from first law. Okay. So here if you see dq is equals to what? This du is equals to what? 0. So dq will be equals to what? dw. Now this condition we will use, okay? Where we will use, see here. Delta S is equals to what? Del Q by T. Okay. First equation you see, equation 1. PV, it is equals to what? nRT. Okay. nR I am keeping as it is. T can be written as what? Del Q by del S. From this equation you can write T can be written as what? Del Q by del S. Right. Now you see, you can write delta Q. It will be equals to what? PV del S by what? nR. Right. Now delta Q, it is equals to what? Del W, na? W is equals to what? Del Q. Yes or no? W is equals to del Q. Here we have seen na, dq is equals to what? dw. That is the reason that we can write the work done W is equals to what? PV del S by nR. Because both W and Q, they are equal. Okay. So this is the reason we have seen here dq is equal to dw. So it is very simple. First you need to write the ideal gas equation. Isothermal expansion is here isothermal expansion is mentioned, that means temperature is constant. Change in entropy formula we have written. Here what from this equation we are taking out the value of temperature and substituting it in equation 1. Okay. And then what we are doing? We are finding del Q is equals to what? Del W, taking the conditions given, and finally we have that the work done is equals to PV del S by nR. That is, the correct option is what? Option A. Now let's see the next question, question number 7. So now let's see question number 7. Here what it is said that the total power radiated by a spherical black body of radius r at a temperature T is P1. So P2 be the total power radiated by another spherical black body of radius r by 2 kept at temperature 2T. So we need to find out the ratio P1 by P2 of it is what? So we are having here two black bodies. Suppose I'm taking this A and B. These are two what? Black body. The first one is having what? Temperature T. The second one is having temperature 2T. The first one power radiated is P1. The second one's power radiated is denoted by how much? P2. And the radius of the first one is r and the second one is having what? R by 2. So we have to find the ratio between what? P1 by P2. This is what we need to find. So for this what we will write? By Stephen's law. Okay. We know that the power radiated, it is equals to what? Sigma A to T to the power 4. Here this sigma, it is Stephen's constant. Okay, this A is the area and T is the temperature. Okay, now in our case, okay, here the body is what? The body is spherical, right? So the area will be what? 4 pi r square, means the area is proportional to the square of the radius. So we will write P1 by P2 to be equals to what? R1 square, okay, T1 to the power 4 divided by what? R2 square divided by T to the power 4. So P1 by P2, it will be equals to what? R1 is what? R square. Temperature is T to the power 4. But R2 is what? R by 2 whole square. And the temperature is what? 2T to the power 4. So this will give you P1 by P2 to be equals to R square T to the power 4 divided by R square by 4 into with 16 T to the power 4. This will cancel 16 4 times. R square will get cancelled. T to the power 4 will also get cancelled. And finally, what you will have, P1 by P2, it is equals to 1 by 4. That will implies that P1 by P2, it is equals to how much? 0.25, right? So the ratio is how much? 0.25. This is very simple. Just you need to use the Stephen's law. Next, let's see question number 8. So let's see question number 8. Here it is said, for a system at constant temperature and volume, which of the following statement is correct at equilibrium? So we are having 4 options here. The first 2 options says that the Helmholtz free energy attains a local minimum. The second says it attains a local maximum. The third says Gibbs free energy attains a local minimum, and the fourth says Gibbs free energy attains a local maximum. So here it is said a system is there which is having constant temperature and volume. Which of the following statement is correct at equilibrium? We know that for equilibrium, only the Helmholtz free energy, it is attaining a local minimum. Okay, and we already know that if we are having a system, okay, which is in contact, suppose this is a reservoir, okay, and this is a what? System. This is the system, this is the reservoir. Okay, if a system, it is in contact with a reservoir, okay, and if the reservoir's temperature and pressure, these are constant, and the system's volume is constant, then what will happen? That for the system to be in thermal equilibrium, its function F, that means the Helmholtz free energy, it must be what? Minimum. That only if it would be given that it is the system is in what? At constant pressure, then we would say that the enthalpy is constant. Okay, so the correct option is what? Option A. Now let's see the next question. Here what it is said, that for a black body radiation in a cavity, photons are created and annihilated freely as a result of emission and absorption by the walls of the cavity. This is because, means here it is said, what it is said, that in a cavity, okay, for a black body radiation, photons are created and they are destroyed. Freely they are created and destroyed. By what? They are created by emission and destroyed by what? Absorption. Okay, by the walls of the cavity. This is why this is happening. Okay, so what is responsible for this phenomenon? It is asked. The first is that the chemical potential of the photon is 0. The second is photons obey Pauli exclusion principle. The third is photons are spin 1 particles, and the fourth is entropy of photons is very large. So this can be said directly that the chemical potential of photons is what? 0. That is the reason that in this cavity, photons are created and annihilated because of emission and absorption. Because in thermodynamics, this chemical potential, it is that property, okay, which is explaining the energy required to change state. Okay, that means the energy required to create or destroy a particle. So the correct option is option A. Next, let's see question number 10. So now let's see question number 10. Here what it is said to us, that the entropy of a gas containing n particles enclosed in a volume V. For a gas which is having n particles, it is enclosed in a volume V, the entropy S is given by this. Here E, it is denoting what? The total energy. A, it is a constant, and Kb, this is the Boltzmann's constant. So you need to find the chemical potential mu. So first of all, we will write what is given to us. Entropy is given to us. Entropy is equals to what? N Kb ln Av e to the power 3 by 2 divided by n to the power 5 by 2, right? Now we already know what? We know that dg, it is equals to what? This formula you need to remember, okay? Vdp minus sdt plus mu dn. Okay, from here you can write S will be equals to what? Minus del G by del T at constant pressure. And finally from this you can write G will be equals to what? Minus sign will be as it is. If you write S, you can write what? N Kb, T is multiplied, right, from this. And the bracket terms will be as it is, ln Av e to the power 3 by 2 divided by n to the power 5 by 2. Okay. Now what we know, mu. Mu is equals to what? The chemical potential is equals to what? Del G by del N. That means you have to differentiate the Gibbs free energy with respect to capital N. So now we will do this and we will get the chemical potential. So mu is equals to what? Minus KBT I am taking outside. Okay, taking N as the first term. So del N of N is 1 and the logarithm term will be as it is. Okay, ln AV e to the power how much? 3 by 2 divided by N to the power 5 by 2. Plus sign. This time N will be kept as it is. The logarithm term will be differentiated. We know that log of x is equals to what? 1 by x. So you have to write just the reciprocal of it. It will be N by 5 by 2 divided by AV e to the power 3 by 2. Again on differentiating, the constant terms will be what? As it is. AV e to the power 3 by 2, it will be as it is. And here what you will have? Minus 5 by 2. Okay. And it is N to the power what? Minus 5 by 2 minus 1. That is minus 7 by 2. I am bringing it to the what? Denominator. So it is becoming positive. Okay. So finally what you will have? Mu is equals to minus KBT is as it is. Okay. This ln AV, the first term will be as it is. Okay. There will be changes only in the second term. So if you see, this is N to the power 1, N to the power 5 by 2. Total it is N to the power 7 by 2. So it will cancel this. And this constant term, completely it will cancel this constant term. So in the second term, you will have only what? 5 by 2 left. Okay. So finally you can write mu to be equals to what? You can take the negative side inside also. That is on your wish. Okay. So you can finally write KBT with 5 by 2. Okay. Minus KBT ln AV e to the power 3 by 2 divided by N to the power 5 by 2. So this is the chemical potential. So this is very simple. You have written what is entropy. From entropy you have written the change in Gibbs energy dg. From here you have to found out what is S is equals to. That will give you Gibbs free energy, because we know that chemical potential. Okay, this is chemical potential. Chemical potential mu is equals to del G by del N. So this on doing you will get the value of the chemical potential. Okay. Now let's see question number 11. At a given temperature T, the average energy per particle of a non-interacting gas of two-dimension harmonic classical harmonic oscillator is what? So you have to write here the firstly let's see the question. Okay, once again, at a given temperature. Okay, suppose the given temperature is T. Okay, the average energy per particle we need to find of a non-interacting gas of a two-dimensional classical harmonic oscillator. So firstly let us write the total energy for a two-dimensional harmonic oscillator. So this is Px square by 2m plus Py square by 2m. This is the kinetic energy plus half what? Half of Kx square plus y square. So this is the potential energy and this is the kinetic energy term, right? And this is for two dimension. Now we know that energy associated with one quadratic term is K by 2. Okay. We know what? Energy associated with each quadratic term is KBT by 2. Here how many quadratic terms are there? Here you are having how much? 2. Here you are having how much? 2. Total 4 quadratic terms are there, right? So the energy will be equals to what? 4 into with, means here you are having what? 1 quadratic term, right? Here you are having how much? 1 quadratic term, here 1 and here 1. So total how many quadratic terms are there? 4. So it is 4 quadratic terms into with energy associated with each quadratic term is K by 2. So with 4 it will be what? 4 into with KBT by 2. So this is equals to 2 to the cancel. It will be 2 KBT. So this is the energy. This is the average energy per particle for a non-interacting gas of two-dimensional harmonic oscillator. Next is question number 12. The entropy function of a system, it is given by SE. So this is the entropy of a system. A and E naught, these are the positive constants. So you just need to find the temperature. Entropy is given to us, we need to find the temperature. So these are the four options. You have to choose one. Okay. So firstly, we will write the relationship between the temperature and entropy. Okay. We know what? That 1 by T, it is equals to what? ds by dE, right? That means we have to just differentiate the entropy with respect to energy, E. Okay. So here A is constant term and we will just differentiate E naught. Okay. E naught is also a constant term. DDE of E is what? 1 minus. This time it is E into with E. If you see here this E into with E, it is E square. So on differentiating E square with respect to E, what you will have? Twice of E, right? So you will have T, just take the reciprocal of it, you will have A E naught minus 2E, right? So here it is said to us what? That E naught is what? Positive. A is also what? Positive. If E naught and A both are positive, that means what? In that case, it might be negative. Yes or no? Because E naught must be what? E naught is greater than this term. That means what? For some of the term, means for some of the system, it might be negative for some energies, right? You can see from this expression. So the correct option is what? Option A. It might be negative for some energies. Now let's see question number 13. What is given in question number 13? For a gas under isothermal condition, its pressure P varies with volume. It is said that pressure is what? Varying with volume. And here P is proportional to V to the power minus 5 by 3. Means pressure is varying as minus 5 by 3 power of volume. Okay. So we have to find the bulk modulus. Now, firstly, what we will see here, that it is given to us that what? It is under isothermal condition. Okay. Isothermal condition means we already know that isothermal means T is constant, means the temperature will be constant. Now, for ideal gas, we have the equation, and the equation is what? PV is equals to nRT, right? This will give you on differentiation PV, this will give you PdV plus V dP, it is equals to what? nR dt, right? dt will be equals to what? 0, because T is constant. So you will have finally PdV plus VdP to be equals to what? 0. So from this you will get the pressure to be equals to what? Minus VdP by dV, right? You can write it in this way. Now we know the bulk modulus. Okay, it is denoted by B. It is also equals to what? Minus V dP by dV. This is the formula for the bulk modulus. If you see, the bulk modulus and pressure both are same or not, that means bulk modulus will be also similarly proportional to the volume. Okay, so you can say bulk modulus is also proportional to V to the power minus 5 by 3. So the correct option here is option D. This is not that tough, just basic concept. Next is question number 14. Here it is said an amount of heat Q, it is transferred from a heat reservoir at temperature TA to another heat reservoir at temperature TB. What is the change in the entropy del S of the combined system? So here we have to find del S. Okay, the combined systems change in entropy. When you are having two heat reservoir, the first heat reservoir, okay, it is transferring a amount heat Q. Okay, and the first reservoir is at a temperature TA. It is transferring it to second reservoir, which is at temperature TB. So firstly, we know what? Whenever heat is transferred from one body to another, okay, the one which is absorbing it is positive, the one which is transferring it is negative, right? Now, by the second law, what we know? By the second law of thermodynamics, okay, law of thermodynamics, we know that the change in entropy delta S is equals to dq by T. Okay, so now we can write delta S. For the first system, we will write how much energy it is transferring, Q. Since it is transferring, so it will be negative. Q by the temperature of the first reservoir is TA, plus the second reservoir is absorbing the heat, so it will be positive. So you will have Q by TB, right? So finally what you will have, 1 by Q, just take common, you will have 1 by TB minus 1 by TA. Okay, this is delta S. So the correct option is option A. You can see it is Q 1 by TB minus 1 by TA. This is not Q, okay, this is just TA. Okay, next is question number 15. Here it is said across a first order phase transition, the free energy is what? So here we are having the first order phase transition. We know what in case of first order phase transition, Gibbs free energy is continuous, but the first derivative of what? First order derivative of Gibbs free energy is discontinuous. So what are the options? Let's see. The first is it is proportional to temperature. Okay, that is not possible. A continuous function of temperature, but its first derivative is discontinuous. Okay, the third is what? Is continuous function of temperature. Fourth is such that first derivative with respect to temperature is continuous. So here if you see, the first option is not possible, proportional to temperature, right? The second option, it is a continuous function of temperature. Yes, Gibbs free energy is a continuous function of temperature for first order phase transition, and also its first derivative is what? Discontinuous. So the correct option will be what? Option B. We know now this is happening in case of first order phase transition. You can just directly write the answer if you know the theory. Come to the last question, that is question number 16. Okay, so here it is said that the vapor pressure of a solid at temperature T, it is expressed by ln P equals to this one, and for liquid it is given this one. We need to calculate the triple point. So here one thing I'd like to say, it was mistyped. Okay, so I have corrected it. It is 19 minus 3063 by T. Okay, and this is 23 minus 3863 by T. So here we need to calculate the triple point. We know that at triple point the vapor pressure of the solid and liquid both are equal. Okay, so directly we can put it equal. Okay, I'm writing here at, okay, at triple point. Okay, at triple point, vapor pressure of solid and liquid are what? Equal. Okay, so finally you can put it equal, that is for solid it is 23 minus what? 3863 divided by T. It is equals to that of liquid, that is 19 minus 3063 divided by T. So bringing 19 to the left hand side and taking 3863 to the right hand side. 3 and 63 divided by T, and this is 3063 divided by T, and this T is the triple point. So 23 minus 19 will be how much? 4. Taking T to be the LCM, 3863 minus what? 063, that will give you what? 800. So finally you will have T is equals to 800 divided by 4. So it will cancel how many times? 200 times. So the triple point is 200 Kelvin. Okay, so this is the answer. So that's it in this video. We have solved 16 questions of GATE. Okay, so in the next video we will solve the rest questions. Thank you so much. Have a good day.